Rich the Tiger fan says, some team this, the spirit and camaraderie is unreal, but we've actually developed into a direct clinical edge. After 2 years of dross at home, we were prime Barcelona against Leicester and prime 80s Wimbledon in the second half. How you are doing? Welcome back to another 20 minutes of Hull City chat. Coming up this week, we're talking about a more direct and enjoyable to watch Tigers. We're also hailing our October Player of the Month. It's Halloween, so we're asking you and our panel, what's the worst ever nightmare result you've sat through in a stadium watching Hull? And we're continuing our A to Z of Hull City. Stay tuned to the end of the video because we're on to the letter D, and AI came up with this fella. Let's see if our panel can do better. Right, what a week. What a week. Our full panel is back. If you don't recognise Jack, he is still alive. Welcome back. Welcome back, Jack. You're busy with studies and everything. But what a week for Hull, yeah? 7 out of 9 is not bad, Jack, eh?
Yeah, it's a great start. I mean, if you predicted the points before the international break, I don't think many would have said 7 points. And we've not lost in, was it 8 games? I think we've only lost once. So it's really promising. Even though we're not quite in the top 6, we're hovering around. Which at this stage of the season, you'd be pleased, because if you're in the top 6 right now, you've got all the pressure on your shoulders, and you don't want to let it slip at Christmas. So all those teams in top 6 now, they might be flying, but we'll catch them soon.
Yeah, all without Ollie McBurney, Matty, as well. Who needs him, eh?
Absolutely. Hence the title, Ollie McWho, because we haven't had him for the last 2 games, and we've probably Tuesday night against Leicester was that first half was probably the best I've seen him play for 3 seasons probably. So yeah, we don't need him. Joseph, our man Joseph has been outstanding. In terms of his work rate and everything else. He's still just that final piece that he's missing is the goal scoring. But apart from that, he's really leading the line superbly for us at the moment. So so who needs him? Well, we're missing half the team by the looks of it. We've got about half the team out anyway, so we just have to rely on whoever comes in. But no, we've done well. We've done really well. Great week.
Yeah, super. We'll get into the Charlton game in a second. Let's go to Leicester first. Ben, ex-Premier League team coming down. I mean, the 150 million, I think the value of their players were. But you're by far the better side, weren't you?
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought they were worth that much. I think first half we completely outplayed them. Second half, obviously, they come out flying because they need to get something as soon as they can. But I think we did well. Obviously, we did concede, but other than that, I think we were very solid defensively. Semi Ajayi coming back in after a while out of the team, I thought he had a really, really good game. Filled in that hole that Egan left there very nicely alongside Hughes. And I think all across the team, we just played fantastically throughout the whole 90. Really good in attack in the first half, and then defensively really solid in the second.
Yeah. Elliot, let's go on to Charlton. Does it feel like 2 points dropped then?
A little bit, in the sense that we conceded late on. To be fair, I'm not too disappointed though, because I was sort of expecting quite a difficult, closely fought game with them being in such good form as well. I think on the basis of the full game, I think it was probably the fair result in terms of both teams. We probably had a few more opportunities in the second half where we could have maybe put another one past them, but I think Charlton started the game better, and at the end they put a lot of pressure on us and deserved the equaliser. So it's disappointing to concede late, but I also think back to when we beat Oxford in the last minute and we drew at Swansea in the last minute. They were points that we picked up from the end of the game. So it's just sort of one of those championship swings and roundabouts where we'll sometimes get points late on and we'll sometimes drop them. So not too disheartened overall. And I think for us, as Jack said, to get 7 points from the last 9 is very good week for us, and an unbeaten October as well.
Yeah. So I'll take some social media takes from the game, some of these negative ones. Ben, Coxey says, why is Pando not claiming that cross before the corner? That's what cost us the win. A few others calling him out a little bit. Was he at fault?
I don't think directly at fault, but it is something that I've noticed in a few of the last games. He doesn't really come off his line all too often. When you think there's the moment, go and catch it, he doesn't. He just sort of sits back and allows the defenders to try and win the header. So I think it's probably something that he could definitely improve on, because he does seem very tentative to actually go out and make the ball his, rather than allowing the attackers to get to it first, or leaving that responsibility to the defensive line. But I don't think you can pin it all on him for that.
What about the system and the setup, Jack? There's a couple of people that have commented on the 3 and the 5 one you call it. Bill says embarrassing. Why play 5 at the back against League One team? I'm sure Charlton exactly League One team, given I think they were above you when you entered the game.
Yeah.
But the manager got it completely wrong. Yeah, are you having any of that?
I mean, I was baffled when I did see 5 defenders, but then you've also got to look at it. You've got 3 centre halves and you've got full backs on the wing. So really, Giles or Drame were acting kind of more as a winger. But when we did come back, we did have a 5 at back. But we sacrificed Miller, which I think we really did need his quality and his pace and the way he causes he's a pain for defenders. I mean, we thought Carl Joseph would be one of those, but he's getting there. But Miller is already there, so we needed Miller. I just think Charlton were set up right. They had their tactics. It wasn't down to us; it was down to Charlton. Whenever we tried to get down the left and cross that ball in, like we did against Leicester, like we done against Southampton, whenever the ball went in the box, there's always a defender there to scoop it out or get it out. It just didn't click, and then we just needed to revert to a plan B. And unfortunately, it didn't really work as well as we did getting it down the channels. We kind of went a bit more direct, and we just didn't really have the players on the pitch to do a plan B. So it was a bit of Charlton were the ones who kind of forced us to change our tactics. So it was just one of those that they came and had a plan and they played well.
What do you stand on it, Matty? Because there were a couple of people saying 3 at the back, first time in ages, geez. But it's good that you've got a manager who's willing to try things different and isn't just going to keep it the same all the time.
I think he recognised that Charlton were very direct to start off with, and the lad they had up front was enormous. So I think he probably adapted it to suit their tactics, which we probably haven't had before in terms of a manager who's just kind of stuck to his guns and gone with whatever formation he went. So I totally understand why we did change formation, and we went with that. Plus, Miller's coming back from injury. I mean, he's now injured and he's probably out for God knows how long again. So to put too much pressure on Miller and start him again, for me, was probably the right decision. But we should have maybe just kept the formation. It was quite interesting to see, because like Giles was getting forward, but Drame didn't. He's not got the same kind of I suppose presence going forward like Coyle has, but Coyle's been out for the last couple of games. So I get that we have to adjust it for different teams, and I'm quite happy with that. I just don't think we looked as settled going forward as we did against Leicester, in that usual formation that we play. So although it restricted us going forwards, did it work defensively? Yeah, I think it did to a certain point, and we kept them at arm's length. They had a couple of chances early on, but then we did change it second half, and it just didn't kind of work with that. So he's not done anything wrong for me so far, Sergei. He's adapting the team. He's working on such a limited shoestring in terms of players that we've got out there. He's getting it right. So I think he still got it right Saturday. We didn't lose. We got a point. Come away with it. Still lots of positives.
Mm-hmm. Still no clean sheets though, Elliot. We still concede, even though we're picking up points. Does that not concern you? If you look at the top half of that table and you look at goals against, I think there's only two teams at the bottom that have conceded more than Hull.
Yeah, it's a concern. I think we've only got the 2 clean sheets so far. The one just before the international break felt like a stepping stone, but yeah, you're right. Last bet at Birmingham, and even when they went down to 10 men, they were still causing us problems. And our defence, at times, it feels like teams can cut through us quite easily. There has been other cases as well where I think we've been unlucky, like in that Leicester game, their goal sort of came from like an attempt on the edge of the box that just managed to go over our keeper, and then the goal yesterday at the end, just losing a bit of concentration, I think, in terms of the man being free in the box. So we're getting there, I think, defensively. We've definitely got the players to do it with Hughes, Ajay, John Egan. They're all very accomplished Championship centre-backs. But, yeah, we still need to try and improve on that, because I think that could be a downfall in terms of maybe we'll drop a few points from conceding, because the goal scoring looks far better than what it was last season, where it felt like we was relying on the defence to keep us in games.
Okay. Right, Norwich next then, Jack. Don't have the best of records at Carrow Road, but they have just lost 6 home games in a row. This is not going to be a case of Dr. Hull, is it? Coming on and making teams feel better about themselves.
Roll up, Hull City.
It's just typical Hull City, isn't it? It's got to happen. But I mean, we're playing well at the moment. We've got a good streak going, even against Leicester and Southampton. Good teams. We're playing well. So I just think if we just adjust the tactics from Charlton and just play how we were against Leicester and Southampton at Carrow Road, I don't think it's been a problem. I've not been following Norwich, so I can't really say how they've been playing, but I do know they're in the
badly.
They're in the bottom. But who knows? It could be one of those games that could turn their luck around. But fingers crossed, we go there and we play to our best, and these are the games right now where we just need to pick up them 3 points. We can afford to drop 2 points against Charlton, but against Norwich, we need to be getting them points, because that could be the difference at the end of the season.
I suspect there'll be an announcement from Norwich tomorrow at some point, and you won't be playing against Liam Manning, I would imagine anyway. Right, coming up then also, let's do October Player of the Month, because you've just played your last game in October, so we'll get it in before the club announce it this time. One name from all of you, please. Matty.
I'd probably go with Giles for me. I think he's our main man that we've been talking about. So I think all the plaudits have gone to McBurney, but he probably deserves it. He deserves the mention, and he deserves the play. I think the player, not necessarily just for his attacking, which he has been outstanding, but defensively he's looked a lot more assured in that left back position. So for me, I'd go with Giles, but there's probably a few other people up there that are in contention. But for me, yeah, I'm going for him.
Ben?
I think mine is going to be Joe Gelhardt. I'm pretty sure he's got either a goal or an assist in all of our last 4 or 5 games it is now. So, yeah, I think he's all of a sudden just gone right into form at a very good time with someone like McBurney, not being dropped, but having an injury. So, yeah, I think he's been really key in a few of our last few games. Like the way he attacks with the ball, the way he drives with it is something that we do need, and I think something that we've lacked at times. So I think Gelhardt has been very, very...
Elliot?
I think I'd go with Regan Slater. I think since he's come back into the team from that second half against Preston, I think it's been sensational. I think at Birmingham in particular, he was fantastic. He got a brilliant headed goal, and I think he's just been a nuisance and actually having an impact on the game, where he usually maybe gets criticised for maybe being a bit of not being able to have an impact. I think especially more on the ball, he's been very good, and I think he's maybe gone a bit under the radar again, I think, in the last sort of month or so. And I think as long as he can keep it up, he's made that midfield position his own, and I think he really deserves some credit for that.
3 good shouts so far, Jack.
I'm enjoying watching Charlie Hughes defend. I just think he's just a no nonsense defender. We just he's not scared to slide. He's not scared to track back, and he's always there whenever the ball goes forward. So you kind of, when he's in the back line, you feel a sense of security in the back four, and also with Ajay at the moment as well. Them two, especially with the height and the physicality. I just think Charlie Hughes is just a wonder to watch, and let's just hope we can keep him at the next transfer window.
Okay. 4 good shouts. So let us know, of course, in the comments whilst you're also there writing your comments. It would be great if you could press that like button. And if you're new to the channel, do subscribe as well, as we grow this into, it's one of the fastest growing Hull City podcasts on the net. And of course, there are loads of other good ones out there as well. It's Halloween this week, Matty. So, of course, we're always at this time of the year, we ask you to regale, please, if you can. what's the worst ever Hull City game you've sat in a stadium and watched live where you've just felt it's questioned your loyalty? What's been the worst nightmare watching Hull City?
But what you mean, like the last three seasons, basically?
In your lifetime.
The last 3 seasons basically have been the worst ones. Now, I don't know. We've had some strange ones. I think the Wigan result of a couple of years ago was a strange one. But personally, I was only discussing this the other day. I saw us lose 7-1 to Tottenham at home. Was the last game of the season. I think we were already relegated at that point, but then it was just like, oh my god, this is embarrassing. Just watching, going down with a whimper. We didn't even put up a fight that day. I think Harry Kane scored 4, and it was just like, oh my god, this is just absolutely dreadful. So that's probably the worst result I've seen for at home for a long time. So I'd probably go with that. I've seen some awful ones, but I'd probably go with that one. That was just truly dreadful.
Okay. All right, Ben, you're up.
I think in the playoff push season, 23-24, I went to Ipswich away, which was a very, very long drive. I drove there myself. Obviously, lost 3-0, didn't really play very well. As soon as I got back in my car after we'd lost, Ed Sheeran came on the radio. So it was just typical. And it was a very long, long drive back home.
Elliot, what's the worst you've ever seen Hull play as a result?
There's a few, but there's one that sticks in my mind from a couple of years ago. It was at home to Barnsley in the 21-22 season. We lost 2-0. It was a midweek game, and I think there'd been like an offer on the ticket, so we had quite a big attendance, and we were just dreadful against a Barnsley team that I think finished bottom that season, and were all just completely played us off the park. So that's one that particularly sticks in my mind, but there's probably a few other that you could put in there as well.
Okay. Jack?
I'm going to go back to the Avalanche season. I think you can pick a few out there. But what was it? No, sorry, it was the senior season. I went away to Bristol, and it was just cold. It was a long journey, and it was 0-0 until about the 89th minute, and they got a penalty and they scored. And it was just one of those games where we just weren't playing well. And you just came back home feeling what was the point of going? You didn't get anything good out of it. So yeah, I think a long journey down to Bristol was my worst nightmare.
Okay. Brilliant. Right, share yours then in the comments, and we want to read some of these out next week. That'd be absolutely amazing. And of course, to finish off this week, as you've been watching over the last couple of weeks, we've been doing the A to Z of Hull City, and we're up to the letter D this week. Then, this fella got in. Can you beat? Beat that? Start off with the young one, shall we, Elliot?
I'll have to say Dawson. You could obviously either say Andy Dawson or Michael Dawson. So I just think, just in terms of them both having a good, obviously Andy having a massive impact when he was here, and he's still obviously now a coach. So, and obviously Michael Dawson also playing in the Premier League for us. So I'd probably say them two under the same last name, if you like.
It's cheeky, but we'll let you have it, Jack.
I'm going to go for, and I think I was around. I'm going to go for Diarme when he scored against, because of obviously his iconic goal against Sheffield Wednesday. So I might have been a cop out, but I think that's one of my best shouts.
Ben?
Those were both my two top picks. But I think just in terms of how much he's done for the club, Andy Dawson is probably one of the ones that deserves to be up there. Obviously, he was a great player when he played for us, and then has obviously been in charge of us in a few occasions where he's been the interim manager, and he's done well. He's still here now as part of the coaching staff. He's lasted through God knows how many different Atchun sackings. But yeah, I think as a servant for the club, Andy Dawson's been one of the top ones.
Matty?
Good shouts. Good shout. Damien Delaney was a good shout as well, to be fair. He probably scored the best goal I've ever seen when it was back in the KC days. But I've go a bit different. I'd probably go with Paul Duffin, who was the chairman at the time, where he's probably overseen our one of our most successful eras at the club, getting promoted to the Premier League and overseeing us getting obviously winning at Wembley, and then going this time probably 10 years ago or whenever it was, We were top of the Premier League. You know, like when you look now at Sunderland and they've had the best promoted ever side. I think it was us. We were the best ever promoted side back in 2008. That were at top of the league. We'd won four or five games and we were flying high, thinking, oh my God, we could be playing Champions League football. So. And we just then survived on the last game of the season. But you know, he oversee a very successful period with us at the time and got us promoted to the Premier League, which we'll never ever you know we'll never really forget that time because it was just absolutely unbelievable. So I'll throw Duffin's hat into it, but I won't go for him if I'd probably go with Dawson. Good shout.
All right, we'll put Andy Dawson in at D. Thank you very much. Right, we hit our first hard letter next week as we get to E. So thinking caps on. Let us know in the comments if you've got any ideas for E for next week. We'll see you after the Norwich trip. Enjoy that, all of you, and thank you, of course, very much for watching. See you in 7 days' time. Have a good one.